Welcome to the first of many weekly showcase sessions. These showcase sessions are an opportunity for our BPESA vendor members to showcase their value propositions to the sector. My name is Keith Rosmarin, and I am the BPESA Sector or BPESA Skills Portfolio Lead. So everything on the supply side is in my portfolio, and really pleased to be hosting everybody today. The global business services sector represents a significant opportunity for South Africa to address its unemployment and growth challenges. And we're well positioned to capture an increasing share of the export opportunity and achieve the industry's target of achieving between 250,000 and 500,000 cumulative new net jobs with the support of government. But of course, this is only achievable if we're able to optimize the sector and make sure that everything is in sync. Today, we have three organizations that will be presenting their value propositions, and the session is arranged in 15-minute presentation sprints. I'm just going to change into the next slide. So we'll have 15-minute sessions for each organization to present their value proposition and a Q&A towards the end of the session. So I'll be quite tight on time, everyone, and the sessions will all be recorded and posted on BPESA's YouTube channel. We'd appreciate if you would use the chat function. And I think without further ado, I'd like to ask Benjamin, who's going to come up first from ETA Path, to present his business's proposition. And that really is to provide automated, safe, and transparent transport. Just as a quick introduction to Benjamin, he's the director and co-owner of ETA Path, focusing on client relations and business development, and with over 7 years experience in the transport industry. And he's a corporate attorney in his previous life, and pioneered the development of a South African wholly owned transport solution, ETA Path. His attention to detail, combined with his passion for simplifying and automating complex systems, has brought a new approach to age-old transport problems. With that, Benjamin, thanks very much, and over to you for your sprint. Thanks, Benjamin.
Thanks very much, Keith. Let me just share my screen. And just let me know whether you can see.
Yep, I can see it on. It's not on presentation mode yet.
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks for that, Keith. I'm going to get straight into it. Obviously, time is a factor, and there's a lot of information in these slides. So I'm going to just draw out the most important points that hopefully our viewers will listen to and take heed of. So getting straight into it, a little bit of a history. So we've been around for over 7 years. We specialize in the transportation of corporate employees. And the way we describe ETA Path is an end-to-end transport solution. So what that means is, on the back end, we own the vehicles, we employ the drivers, and on the front end, we've developed the technology that interfaces with our clients. So yeah, really the foundation of ETA Path is in testing and training, and obviously setting up the systems for inspections of vehicles. And speaking about the application, our software application really is the crux of what we do. And when speaking about it, there are two main points which I'd like to just emphasize. So firstly, over the years, we've developed a complex algorithm which groups or pulls passengers together based on the proximity within which they live to each other, and then creates the most efficient route to transport them. So that's really the crux of the application, and that creates the time and cost efficiencies that we then offer back to our clients. Secondly is the user interface. Our clients' employees each have a user interface, a profile which they can log into, and they can then view their trip data, whether it be past trips or trips still to come. And this is obviously very useful for them to stay abreast of the most important information relating to their transportation. In addition to that, there is an organizational head or managerial profile that then gives that person oversight over the entire organization. And what we do is we feed key data points into that profile, which gives that organizational head a unique ability, or unique rather business insights into his organization's transportation. So as an example, kilometers are fed into that profile, and that manager or organizational head can then review the kilometers done for the day, the week, or the month, or for specific employees. So that's amongst a few other key data indicators that are fed into that profile. Moving on to safety and flexibility, our clients' employees are their most valuable assets, and we treat them as such. And how we do that is, as I mentioned in our foundation, is the daily interior and exterior inspection of vehicles. In addition, the training and testing of drivers, to the point where all our drivers have a minimum of 4 years driving experience and clean criminal records. So as I mentioned, the foundation of ETA Path is in training, testing, and evaluating, and that's of drivers and vehicles. Just to mention, we have a 24-hour control room that would then track and record all the details of the trips. This data is fed into a common WhatsApp group that our clients have sight of, and they can then see the daily status of transportation that's taking place. Moving on to flexibility, we have clients that operate 8-hour shifts, 12-hour shifts, as well as 24-hour shifts. So really transportation around the clock. Vehicles are available, and generally how this works is we would be sent a trip schedule, which would then set out the transport times for employees. We would book those in advance and prep our vehicles and our drivers to carry out such transportation.
Ben, I'm sorry to cut you. Sorry. Your presentation is not advancing on the screen. It's still on your first sort of cover page, full screen.
Oh, is it not? Can you not see it moving?
No.
Let's see. Can you see it moving?
Not as yet. There we go.
Okay.
Automated and easy.
Okay, so sorry about that. Let's just go to where I was at flexibility, and I'll just repeat what I was saying here. So as I mentioned, with flexibility, we have clients that operate 8 hours, 12 hours, and 24 hours. So really, we have vehicles around the clock. And generally how it works is we are sent a shift pattern by our clients that then schedules in their staff for the day, and we make preparation for their transport. However, if transport is required outside of those shift patterns, what we term ad hoc trips, these can be booked at any time of the day. Generally, we need a 30 to 45-minute heads up to prep our vehicles and our drivers to carry out such transport. So really what we're talking about is an on-demand service. And just to mention finally, we have 24-hour emergency support, which is facilitated by the ETA Path control room. Moving on to communication. Communication is handled entirely by the software application, and this is done by SMS or email, whichever is preferred. And your employee would be sent an SMS between 6 and 12 hours before the trip, and this would indicate the driver details, the vehicle details, and the trip details. So your employees really are kept abreast of the most important information at all times of day so that they are ready and prepped for their transportation. Moving on to pricing, and obviously we understand that pricing and margins is of utmost importance in this environment, and we really pride ourselves in being what we believe is the most cost-effective private transport service in the market. And so what that means is, on average, a price per passenger is between 55 and 75 Rand, which is comparable to public transportation. In addition, something that we're very proud of is that our drivers are paid on average 10 to 15% more when using ETA Path. And this is comparable to your other on-demand driving applications, transport applications. Finally, flexibility, and I think this is a point that needs to really be emphasized. We don't operate according to a subscription model or a per monthly fee. We operate you only pay for the transport that you use. So if you have a month where less transport is used, you would only pay for the amount of transport used. Great, so thank you. That's my presentation. I hope there were some key insights. I do apologize for some of the slides not going through, but if you'd like further details, you can review our website at www.etapath.com, or you can get a hold of us directly at support@etapath.com. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Benjamin. We'll also have opportunities towards the end of the session for individuals to ask questions. But yeah, thanks for that. I think just moving on to the next presentation. So if you are able to stop your presentation, I'd like to introduce Tracy Shakan. Tracy's from an organization called Yes for Youth, an organization I've been very familiar with for a number of years, especially while I was working together with Harambee Youth Employment Accelerator. Yes for Youth has really helped to disrupt the sector, but also really helped to provide opportunities for unemployed youth to become more employable and to pathway into earning opportunities. Tracy has over 25 years in the world of work with a background in staffing in the staffing industry. Tracy's been directly involved in South Africa's effort to position itself as a destination of choice for international outsourced contact centers, having attended many contact center expos, including Birmingham, India, and Chicago. Tracy's been with Yes for over 3 years and will share insights into how Yes works and how companies can integrate Yes into their broader BPESA initiatives. Welcome, Tracy, and over to you.
Thanks very much. So today I'll get straight into it and share with you how your organization can not only create jobs, but also ensure that our youth get a 12-month quality work experience. So what is Yes? Yes initially was set up during the CEO initiative. It's formulated with 2 pieces of legislation, which is a gazette and a practice note. And we're delighted to share with you that today we actually have reached a new milestone, and that is that we have 71,000 youth that are currently on the Yes program. Yes is an enabler of a 12-month quality work experience for unemployed youth. Youth need to be between the ages of 18 and 35. And what essentially happens within the 12-month period is that an organization will provide the youth with experience. Yes will provide them with a smartphone, and ultimately at the end of the 12 months, the youth will receive a CV and a reference letter. Statistics show that any individual, in fact, is 3 times more employable if they have that CV. And in fact, females, interestingly enough, are 50% more likely to find a position with the currency of a CV. In return, an organization can move up 1 or 2 levels on their BBB scorecard. As I mentioned to you, we've actually just reached a new milestone in that we have 71,000 youth work experiences that have been created. These jobs exist across a broad range of sectors, including the BPO space. Our statistics show us that at present, over 700 organizations have either received 1 or 2 levels up on their scorecard. And very importantly, one of the key asset tests is that over 4 billion rand has been injected back into the economy and directly into the areas where youth work and back into those communities. From a BBBE benefit perspective, an organization would register on our portal. Their target would be calculated based on 3 principles, and that would be either the NPAT, the headcount, or there is a jobs table. As mentioned, an organization can move up either 1 level and 3 bonus points, or 2 levels on their scorecard. What is also very important in terms of the program is that an organization is then mandated to either absorb 2.5% or 5% of their youth. And we're exceptionally proud to say that to date, our absorption ranges anything between 28 and 42%. As you can see, an organization can then move up the BBBE pyramid. Yes is additive to the scorecard, so the other elements of the scorecard will still obviously need to be achieved. This just gives you a high-level summary of specific entities and what sub-minimums they will need to achieve in order to participate in the YES program. This is all stipulated in the Gazette as well as on our website. And makes it so much easier for an organization to participate in the program. So how can you get involved in YES? An organization is able to either create opportunities within their organization themselves by recruiting those youth. Youth will be between the ages of 18 to 35 and unemployed at the time of commencing the work experience. Or a very exciting model that YES has in place, and it's been an exceptionally successful model, is that you can place youth at a YES implementation partner. What those partnerships look like is YES has created these various ecosystems and can assign youth on behalf of an organization where an organization is unable to create those opportunities in their company. And these range anything from digital, health, finance, education, manufacturing, SMME development, and conservation. What is so critical about that model is that we align to growth opportunities. Number 1, these jobs are created in communities. And as a specific example, we've actually had youth that have been upskilled and trained, particularly during COVID, to either administer vaccines, do administrative components of it. And in return, they've now inherited these lifelong skills. To this economy that and this sector we're talking about, the digital arena is absolutely critical, and we have various partnerships with implementation partners to fast-track learning with youth and give them those new skills. We have a proven track record, and if you look at this list within the BPO sector, we've got organizations like Merchants, who have participated, CCI, Wipro. The list is quite exhaustive. We also have companies like the big banks, ShopRite, who in fact have recently signed up for their 4th program. ShopRite, as an example, just to mention scale, have actually created more than 7,500 work opportunities and absorbed almost 35 to 40% of those youth. We really believe that with BPESA, we have a shared vision. And Zain Patel and the merchants team with Sidwell, who I know, I'm not sure, Sidwell, if you're here today, is part of BPESA, as is Zain. And just to share the snapshot from one of our key clients who's now participated in their 3rd year, is engaging with YES as a strategic partner. And as we further bolster our support for youth employment has been seamless. YES is a vital partnership for merchants that translates into lower attrition, an absolute buzzword for this industry, improved engagement, productivity, and creates a basis for advancing our transformation imperatives. As you may or may not know, merchants, and we're delighted for them, has now become one of the first local BPO providers within its size to achieve a BBBE level. All youth are equipped with a smartphone. This is a critical piece, a tool which enables them to do various assessments as well as to learn. It's digital, it's real time, and we are able to monitor and evaluate their progress. What is also so important is that one of the key attributes and the key tenets on the foundation of YES is for youth to continue to have a growth mindset. So we send them nudges and various rewards as they embark on these 25 modules. The training is online through this communication device. And we're delighted that at the start of 2022, 20 million minutes of learning have been completed by YES Youth. What is also critical is the behavioral shifts that we've actually seen happen, and most critically is increased confidence in the workplace. We also look at stress and socio-emotional management. We equip youth with better financial planning and decisions. We encourage them to ensure that they have effective communication and interpersonal skills in the workplace. Some of the modules also focus on safety and digital literacy. And ultimately, at the end of the program, from an offboarding perspective, we assist our youth to plan for the ultimate next step, which is to find the currency of a permanent job, or alternatively, to become entrepreneurs. Our value proposition, finally, is really about equipping our youth with a smartphone, creating the learning modules, monitoring and evaluating their performance, reporting. We report back to the GTIC as well as to our clients. Supervisors can monitor the youth activities, and that ultimately leads to a CV and a reference letter. We do inductions and offboarding, and through partners like BPESA, we create those alternative pathways for the future. So finally, thank you for listening to my presentation today. We would love you to join us and just say yes. In return, you'll work with one of the highest impact social initiatives in the world. We have a proven track record of delivery with over 4 billion in youth salaries, is really not by accident, and shows the impact that we really understand and the scale. From a South African perspective, we all need to look to the future and build this workforce and contribute to adding those fundamental skills. We too have created and assisted in enabling entrepreneurs who will contribute to the tax base. YES is not a short-term model. It's really about creating infrastructure and finally integrating your BBBE scorecard spend to reach that next milestone. Thank you very much.
Great, Tracy. Thanks very much for a good presentation. And I'd like us to just move, and we're doing great on time. So it'll leave us really some quality time for some questions. Our final presentation is from Insight Online, and it'll be done by Dani Viljoen, who'll be presenting their digital learning platform called Flex Online. Dani is the Managing Director at Insight Online, and a specialist education technology firm that created the digital learning platform Flex Online. He's a chartered accountant, yet since his article days at KPMG has forged his career as an entrepreneur, starting an online learning technology business that boasts a range of products and that has grown to serve companies with a global footprint. Focusing on automation and vast scalability, Dani and his team's passion and efforts are invested in the development of a blend of education technology products and analytic services that assist organizations with their increasing dependencies on digital learning and data-driven decision-making. Dani, thanks very much indeed. I've learned about your platform and certainly online learning, particularly with operating models that we have around candidates and agents working from home is an important service and product that we need to know more about. So yeah, thank you. With that, Dani, over to you.
Fantastic, Keith. Thank you so much for the platform, and thank you so much for everyone that have joined to listen to all of us this morning. I hope that we are able to add some value in this hour session. So I'm just going to share my screen and just confirm whether you are able to see my screen.
It's coming up. Yeah, I can.
100%. Before I get started, I would just like to open with a very, very brief video, just to give a short indication of what Flex is all about, and then we'll jump right into the presentation. Fantastic. Thanks so much, Keith. I just wanted to confirm, can you also just see, can you see the PowerPoint presentation at the moment?
And indeed, not in presentation mode yet.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. There we go. All right. Fantastic, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Let's jump right into it. What is Flex? Flex is a platform that enables organizations of all types and sizes to deliver digital learning experiences on their own branded learning management system. The Flex platform enables you to deliver market-leading experience that makes online learning simple and easy for everyone. So what gets us out of bed every morning is to simplify the means of creating and delivering courses in a simplified and easy manner, yet enrich the scope of what our clients can do across the entire training workflow with one single platform. It is therefore our mission to give people a platform and content creation tools to develop high-quality courses in a very user-friendly manner and to make the learning experience enjoyable for our clients' learners. So being a BPESA member and servicing the GBS sector, an extension to our mission is to work on features that are game changers for this industry and the organizations therein. Apart from a long list of valuable platform, course, and content features, the following items we bring to you stand out and should be noticed if you're looking for a top-notch digital learning platform. So firstly, The fact that we can develop one course and allow you to deliver that seamlessly on a mobile application or the web, whether that is a desktop, tablet, or a phone, is a vital feature that your learners can learn anytime, anywhere. Much of the other platforms out there in the market limits the experience of a course when you interface with it via mobile app versus the web. So with the Flex platform, that is no more a stress. So you can develop one platform, focus all your efforts on literally creating one course, knowing that that experience will be exactly the same. Doesn't matter the platform that the user actually interface with it. Best of it all is that our mobile application comes free when you purchase your platform. So there's no limitations in terms of extra costs when you're wanting to ensure one seamless delivery. When we speak about a course, our platform allows you to build out live online training courses, which most of the market has become accustomed to. Here we speak about teams training sessions or training sessions on Zoom. Here we facilitate that in a very simple, easy manner to allow Zoom or Teams integrations in your Flex platform, but with an added extension of other learning aids, such as final examinations or assessments, and just the general interface of creating a good learning environment. On top of that, you can create self-paced courses to allow learners to come to the platform and consume your learning whenever it fits their schedule. So truly allowing learners to learn at their own pace, and it doesn't matter where they are, whether they're on the bus, the train, in the comfort of their home, they're able to consume it on the device of their choice. And then lastly, instructor-led courses, where there's guidance needed in a course. There's a specific starting point and an end time, and the facilitator needs to assist learners to get through the schedule in a systematic manner. So our platform really is one of the most flexible platforms when it comes to delivering different training types. Then lastly, and probably most important, is that it is an end-to-end platform across the entire training ecosystem. So it's not just a tool to facilitate content with, it stretches the training ecosystem that is largely being done in silos at this given point in time, or at least in a traditional environment, when we speak of learner management. So in this case, you're able to do automated enrollment, broadcast communication to all your learners and users of the platform, and allow robust notifications to your users to nudge them on the journey, on the learning journey. On top of that, the platform has got its own built-in authoring tools, which means that you don't have to purchase any other software packages to create content, load it on third-party services like YouTube or Vimeo, just to get content out to your users. It's truly one platform that allows you to also build your content therein. It allows you to manage a marketing website, so a beautiful interface that you can be proud of and proudly display courses to the public. So it's not just an empty shell or a ugly-looking learning platform. It is something that you can really be proud of and can represent your brand to the public. A very robust and game-changing feature that we've brought into the platform is that you can create custom validated digital certificates for each and every course, and allow a management tool to issue these certificates to your learners in an automated manner whenever they've reached the minimum requirements for a grading policy, for instance. We've built in a certificate validation mechanism, which we believe is a first to market, to curb the risk of credential fraud. So this means there's a digital identity that can be scanned by anyone to confirm whether a learner in fact did earn that certificate or not. This is truly a game changer for the GBS sector, we believe, and that is a CETA workflow engine that enables end-to-end digital management of the CETA requirements, such as your portfolio of evidence submission and reporting, but also allowing your assessors and moderators to instantly be allocated to correct students and to do their verification in line with the CETA requirements. This is truly a very traditional mechanism at this point in time, where most CETAs haven't provided good guidance on this, and very little traction has been made to transform the very traditional concept into an end-to-end digital management solution. And that's what our platform brings to our customers. So very, very useful for skills development providers that offer CETA courses to operators in the market. And this will just save endless time and many frustration and cost in managing this experience. Then lastly, reporting and analytics to comprehensively manage the learner progress, learner performance, and learner engagement. Part of our digital identity as a company is the fact that we are born out of analytics. So we're able to bring that experience into the Flex platform and truly bring insights to life that is second to none in other platforms. So before we unpack why you desperately need a Flex platform, it is important to understand the macro context of education and training globally, as well as factors within the GBS sector. At a global level, the answer is simple. The future of education is online. Our world is transitioning from a knowledge-based economy to an innovation-based economy. And with the fourth industrial revolution well into its making, it means skills needs changes more rapidly, which places a high demand on rapid and scalable training. Matching that demand in a traditional manner is no longer doable. We most definitely need tools and thereby technology and digital tools to scale our solutions. Another factor is that the importance that is being placed on micro degrees and informal training is swiftly surpassing the need for college degrees. People can't spend 4 or 5 years anymore, to study for a degree, then get into the marketplace only to realize that that skill is redundant. We need more and more rapid upskilling, micro-credentialing that allows people to swiftly jump through the skills needs, attain that the ability to master a skill set and then deploy it in the practice. And then finally, COVID was a real final trigger to comprehensively push us into an online and blended world. I think everyone has experienced this, and we're looking now to a post-COVID world where we're firmly going to see how this becomes a lasting factor, and it's not something that we should yearn for in the past. It's something that we need to look forward to and see how we can make use of these opportunities that technology tools bring to the fore. Then within the GBS sector, within BPESA's master plan, skills development is one of the priority items. The problem or challenge at least is that the scalability of these skills development solutions and interventions is something that is truly needed to support the bold targets that have been set in the industry. So without the necessary tools and scalability, we might fall short in reaching these targets if we don't adopt and use technology for what it's meant to do. Then lastly, and a very important factor is in the 2021 Ryan Strategic Survey, the implementation of knowledge management solutions were identified as one of the 5 key investment priorities in the offshore markets of North America, UK, and Australia. That means these clients, if they are going to make a choice to outsource to our countries, and we are wanting to win these clients, we're going to need proper digital solutions that support priority items, and that is knowledge management solutions being one of them. So again, why do you need a Flex platform? I think we've established the macro need for online education at a global level, as well as at a GBS sector level. The need for technology and so on desperately becomes a minimum factor that needs to be considered. And with our Flex product, being tailored for this sector, and the features that we bring to the fore that's very relevant to the GBS operators and skills development providers, we believe we've got a formidable product that can help you transition towards these macro needs. In addition to that, and I'll share a brief moment of that next, is some of the quality references that we've got, people that have chosen our platforms and are actively using it to make the transition to online. And lastly, which I don't think we'll get time to discuss pricing, is really that when it comes to the value on the table, the fees for the Flex product it becomes a no-brainer conversation. So just to touch base on two success stories, one that's very close to our hearts, with Harambee being a strategic partner to BPESA. In the pre-COVID environment, when Harambee was still managing the brick and mortar business model, where candidates came in, performed psychometrics and so on, we created a platform that could manage all the digital education, intervention, and psychometric assessment needs for Harambee. The solution was a commissioned enterprise solution that fulfilled a business-critical link in the Harambee model. So candidates had to pass through this platform to advance in the positioning of them into work situations. And that supported a flow of 30,000 active users per month. Safe to say that our infrastructure and our platform can handle robust scalability and contingency requirements. Then something that's probably very relevant to GBS operators wanting to expand in the global footprint. Another success story is VDA, which is a quality authorization center in Germany. They manage the entire quality standards set for the German automotive industry, that being Volkswagen, BMW, and Daimler. And the entire supply chain needs to go through these courses to, at the end of the day, become a supplier to these OEMs. During COVID, the entire traditional system was halted, and they needed a platform to continue training during COVID and actually lead the way into a post-COVID world of online learning. So we rapidly commissioned a platform, we integrated it with their systems, and we, to this day, provide training continuity to VDA, and this is being done in North America, South America, Europe, and China. So one platform that delivers training at a global level, whereas previously in the brick and mortar model, it was quite a challenge to reach that scale. So with that, I would like to end this presentation and then welcome any questions if there are any. Thanks so much, Keith, for the opportunity, and thank you all for making your time available to listen to our presentations. Thanks so much.
Thanks very much, Dani and Tracy and Benjamin. Yeah, if you wouldn't mind coming back on video, I think it's just Benjamin that's going to need to come on. And I think we've got an opportunity now. We're in time, so thanks very much for that. I thought I would have an issue. Certainly we haven't. Would love to hear more from the participants, to hear if they've got any questions. This is about speed dating, but it's also about the opportunity to ask those questions, with the specialists that we've actually got on board right now. But perhaps, while we're waiting for some of those questions to come through, and please, I think also you're welcome to raise your hand, and I'll be able to, allow you to come on a line to actually ask your questions directly. But perhaps to kick it off, Dani, just from your perspective, cost is always an issue across the world, as well in South Africa, with the margins that we've spoken about, particularly in the sector. And just interested to hear your thoughts around costs to get going, whether a sandbox environment is possible for individuals to explore. So just perhaps a bit more about that. And I'll ask a few questions to some of the other leads as well. Thank you, Dani.
Fantastic, Keith. No, of course. Thanks so much for the question. So clients can walk away with the Flex platform from as little as 1,750 Rand a month. which includes the first 100 active users on the platform. So it means you can get a platform today, start offering courses tomorrow for under 2,000 Rand a month. And most training models obviously charge a per user fee. So the margin factor becomes very evident from the first couple of users. If you charge on a per user model, the price of the platform becomes a no-brainer at the end of the day.
Great, thanks very much, Donnie. Yes, I see a few people have joined in. Johanni, welcome. We were gifted load shedding from Eskom, I see, for a little while. And so hopefully we can have some other value propositions coming through around electricity as well. But yeah, thank you. Yeah, just a point that Nina's also asked, there are other vendors that might be interested in showcasing. You're welcome to contact either me or BPESA to be able to do that as well. So I think it's an important point. If anybody here does know of products and services that might be worthwhile to share, just to let us know, let one of us know in the BPESA team. Perhaps Benjamin, moving over to you. Once again, perhaps coming up to cost, you mentioned that you do have a cost or competitive price structure. Why are you cheaper?
Yeah, great question, Keith. And I think this goes towards our tech. What we're doing in the industry at the moment really is surrounds our technology, and what that means is, we've spent the past few years building a complex algorithm that I mentioned, and that allows us to pull passengers together and create efficient route. And I think the point that needs to be emphasized around that is that it takes us a matter of seconds, whereas in the past it was done manually by waybills. You needed to hire 1, 2, 3 staff members to carry this out. Now all the heavy lifting's taken out of our hands, and we push those cost savings towards our clients, and that's obviously in addition to what I just mentioned in terms of pooling employees together and creating an efficient route.
Great, thanks, Benjamin. I'm still waiting to see hands and courageous individuals wanting to ask some questions and queries, but it looks like the presentations have been really, really clear. So yeah, I'll continue with a few questions from my side. And Tracy, I think this is aimed yes for youth. I mean, I think from my side, I think what is key holding the skills portfolio, if we intend to get to our targets of creating 500,000 new net jobs in our sector, to achieve our growth targets, we need to be able to have the talent online to be able to track into those opportunities. But I am interested in what salaries are payable, some of the practical aspects that you might be able to provide, with typical questions that do come up from employers who are interested in engaging with SA Youth and accessing individuals to pathway into Yes for Youth opportunities.
Great, thanks very much, Keith. So from a salary perspective, Yes is governed by both the BCA, the LRA, and the national minimum wage as a start would come into play. That being said, that is 3,760 Rand a month, which is the absolute minimum because you need to comply with legislative aspects. We also have companies that have actually appointed an actuary at the absolute higher end. So it's entirely up to an organization in terms of what the role is, the responsibility, and what position they've created for that work opportunity.
Great, and well done on reaching your milestone this month. I think that's really fantastic news.
Yes.
I am interested, I think, in terms of whether you have stories of individuals that have tracked into full-time sort of positions after their year stint with organizations, and the stories that have tracked through that resonate perhaps at a deeper level past the data that we see around the milestone, which I think is an incredible milestone that they have achieved.
Absolutely, and we've got so many stories to tell. I think one that just comes to mind right now is one of our key clients is VW. They're on their 3rd year's program, looking for their 4th year's program. And as you know, they have various dealerships. One of the Yes Youth that worked down in the Port Elizabeth region managed to sell, I think it was 3 cars within his first month. And VW actually asked us to go and track and see what was it that was different and unique. So this individual actually used to go to his church gatherings on the weekend, going back into the community to share his sales process and his passion for these cars, which was something that was actually out of the norm in terms of thinking differently. As I mentioned to you as well, we have many youth through one of our implementation partners that have actually been involved in COVID. They've actually administered vaccines. We've had nurses involved. There's so many stories to tell. Now that Yes is 3 years plus in the making, as I said to you, we have absorption now that sits, and obviously that figure changes from time to time, but anything between 28 and 42%, which is, I think, a very heartwarming figure, knowing that that the minimum is 2.5% or 5%. So those jobs have been created. We also had, in the very, very early days of Yes, I'll never forget, we had a youth down in the Nelspruit region who could not find a job. She's now developed into a mechanical engineer. She will be about to graduate very soon because the client found that skill set. It was a fantastic fit. And 3 years later, we look at a story like that, which is so heartwarming for someone who actually could never find themselves that lucky break, most importantly, and experience, because we all know that to get the experience becomes a conundrum as to how someone needs to give you, for want of a better word, the lucky break, and your world can really change.
Brilliant. Well, thanks. You can see my background, I think, is really about hands for individuals that have their hand up to enter our sector and to get onto those paths to both learning and earning opportunities. Tracy, we do also have a question from Tyrone, who asked the question around the important one around data. So for the smartphone that is provided, is data budgeted in that as well?
So it's 0 rated. The app is 0 rated. So everything they do on that app is not at a cost.
Great. Okay. Thank you very much indeed. I'm also looking for more hands. Any questions? But Dani, just over to you, or just to ask a question, a couple of things that I'm interested in. I think one is around, I'm sure you have access to content that can be put, that can go onto the Flex platform, and to what extent we in South Africa are starting to digitize more local content that's available to be online. And then perhaps the other second question is really around, what sets you apart from the many other platforms that are proliferating, not just in this country, but elsewhere as well.
Fantastic. Thanks for those questions. Yeah, so to answer your first, the Flex platform is first and foremost to assist organizations with their own in-house training courses. Those are the things that aren't really public courses, and it allows companies to have a platform to build courses out that's specific for their workforce. This might stretch from policy and procedural training to just compliance-based training and so on. But in addition to that, and no pun intended, but our platform is really flexible in the sense that it allows for easy API integration with so many other platforms. So where there are content libraries that we can pull in, we make it super easy accessible through single sign-on capabilities, pulling through course libraries from other platforms into your Flex platform. That will allow you to actually run your own in-house training, but then also pull in content from other platforms for your learners or your workforce then to actually consume. So that's the one. Then your second question in terms of what sets us apart from other platforms in the market. I believe one key aspect is that our platform is built on the newest technology stacks, which allow us to run our platform on mobile and web in one push. So it means we don't have to spend time on maintaining legacy systems or different coding parts. We spend our time on innovating new features, which means we can bring the newest and cutting edge features to our clients. And that's the thing. If you buy a Flex platform, your platform is continuously updated with the newest features. You don't have to pay a single cent for that further. You constantly have the newest and best out there. And then I think just further to that, and we've mentioned that a little bit earlier in the presentation, is that our platform contains specific features that are extremely relevant for this industry. We think about the CETA workflow engines and those type of things. Those aren't features that are available in off-the-shelf products like things that you get from North America, Thinkific of the world, Teachable, all those type of platforms. So we really believe we positioned very relevant to our customer base, and as such, we can actually execute practically on things that strategically need to happen from a training perspective.
Thanks very much for Donnie. And while you're there, and I think I have a question, I think for all the panelists, perhaps as my final question. The common factor that cuts across the three organizations, businesses, is that you're all using technology, which also enables that we're able to look at big data, track information, and use that. So one question that we have in the chat from Tyrone is, what is the reporting options to support with ATR and BBE reporting requirements? And does the platform have the option to give options to the employee on possible courses that would be fit for purpose for them and their career? And perhaps once you've answered that, just to the other panelists as well, in terms of how we can learn from the data and insights that we're tracking through the technology.
Fantastic. Thanks so much for the question, Tyrone. So yes, our platform supports the minimum requirements that's needed for ATR. Those are what courses were completed, which learners were enrolled in it, what was the time spent on it. So in general, we've got those reports, and we're slowly starting to actually publish that as official reports for our local industry. So things like your ATRs and those type of things will become a standard report that one can literally just download and actually submit as part of your claim for the levies. So that's first and foremost the biggest element there, is that we track that data, but we're able to actually convert it into something that's actionable. I think that's the most important thing at the end of the day with technology and its platforms, is that we do sit on an abundance of it. And the most important thing is that we need to obviously respect privacy and handle that in the utmost care manner. But then secondly, that we actually transform these loose data into something that's actually practically usable for our clients.
Brilliant. Yeah, thanks very much, Donnie. And then perhaps Tracy and Benjamin, over to you for a little wrap up on your side, as well as around the data and reporting and analytics question.
So with regards to data and analytics, we gather an incredible amount of information from youth who engage on that smartphone. And in turn, we can track how they've learned, what those engagement minutes look like, and encourage them to continue with that growth mindset. From a BPESA perspective, yes, we'll provide companies with a registration certificate as well as a youth confirmation letter. Compliance is absolutely critical from a BPESA perspective. And if you use our implementation partner model, we will assist with the entire verification process.
Great stuff. And then just a quick wrap up, if you don't mind, from yourself, Benjamin, as well.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Keith. As I mentioned, this is an area that does separate us from our competitors. We do feedback key data points to our clients. And just to mention two, the one would be kilometers. And as a client, you can have oversight over the entire organization or per employee. And secondly would be the cost to company of each employee. So that's also fed back to the organizational head. Employees that stay further away obviously cost more than employees who stay not as far. So, that's answering the key data points, and that's information that's fed back to our clients that they can then use and make key business decisions. And just final point on the BPESA, we're level 2, so compliance is obviously very important to us as well.
Brilliant. Benjamin, thank you very much indeed. We're a few seconds over. Thanks all. Really appreciate the engagement and looking forward to hosting the next session. Thanks very much all. Bye-bye.